All right, guys, welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about BQ, right? So it's almost BQ day. Right now, I'm recording this Sunday afternoon, Monday at reset, which is actually 8 p.m. for me. BQ should be out on a wheel, right? I think a lot of people are going to lock them. He's for sure a must max. I don't think people really have to wait to decide whether they need to invest in them. But there are going to be a couple things that people are going to look for, right? One is the best BQ pairing going to be BQ Luce, right? 80-90% sure that's what it's going to be, but that doesn't mean that's actually the best way to run two infantry, right? Because, for example, let's just say BQ Luce is better than Luce, Scipio or Luce Alex. I think it's Luce Alex is the best right now, right? But how much better is it, right? Because if you can, for some reason, flex BQ to the second march and then keep Luce Alex together, and then BQ and say Scipio or Ragnar or William Wallace, which I have a weird feeling is probably going to be the best BQ pair with pincer formation, then it actually will probably make sense if you're going to run two infantry marches to split them up, right? I get it. The cleanest is, okay, you have a wedge set right now. You've been running Ragnar Scipio with that. And then you have an arch set where you converted it over to pincer, right? So you can still have a pincer set, a wedge set. But it might not be that clean, right? And a lot of it just actually comes down to testing. I've talked about this in previous testing videos I made before. So one, whenever there's testing, I want to see what the baseline is, right? So we all know how good, for example, Luce Alex is, right? So you have to actually run Luce Alex for X amount of time, have a baseline established, and then you can start testing the other marches against it, right? So trust me, I will still be interested in how this guy does in like an arc practice match, right? Even 1v1, 5v5, all that stuff. How he does in the battle simulator, of course I'm still interested, right? But even if the results aren't good, it's not going to deter me from still trying it out myself in KVK and open field, because that to me is what I care the most about for an open field commander. And luckily for me, I'm actually currently just getting into KVK, or I just got into KVK, and Friday my zone 5 zone 5 opens, right? So pass 4 opens and you get in zone 5. That's actually the first zone where you can get fighting. So it's in Orleans again. So unfortunately, I'm going to have an auxiliary skill on every march. But a lot of even the 4 camp setups have like auxiliary skills you can put on there. So I don't think it'll change it too much. But me personally, I'm going to open up. I'm going to start testing out Luce Alex compared to Luce BQ. Right, so I have currently a wedge set, right, and then I have a arch set. Okay, so when I'm testing Luce Alex versus Luce BQ, it's going to be both on the arch set, okay, and then I'll get to compare. And as I'm doing that, right, I'm also going to be running for my secondary infantry, Ragnar Scipio, which is what I've been running for my second. I have not moved off of that. The reason why is because through past testing, I found some like common trends. One is that you actually want the bigger damage dealer to go first, right? When I first started the game, the common thought was you want the damage taken debuff to go first, or the damage buffer to go first, right? So for example, if you had Charles Martel, when his active skill goes off, the secondary commander is going to deal more damage, right? If you have Scipio primary, and then he hits a target with the health debuff, then the secondary commander is going to deal more damage. But through testing, I just found that the bigger damage dealer seems to do better, right? Like ZL primary does better than, say, like Boudica primary or Herman primary in general. But I've had a few people ask me to test Scipio Ragnar. So I'm actually going to test Ragnar Scipio versus Scipio Ragnar, right? And that's when I'm doing that, it'll just be the same set, right? So there's nothing changes. It's literally just a primary commander and then the tree. Scipio Ragnar, the argument for it would be Scipio with the support tree will be 5% faster. Theoretically, it's a little bit more tanky, even though this march doesn't need to be more tanky. And then if you're in a prolonged fight, right? If Scipio's active skill is actually going first and you do the health debuff, Ragnar should do a little bit more damage. Now, practically, I haven't found that worked before, but I will test it out just because like a lot of people asked about it. And when I'm switching those two around, I'm just going to run BQ Luce, right? When I'm actually wanting to test BQ Luce versus Luce Alex, when I'm testing Lucha Alex, I could start messing around with BQ pairs, right? I could try BQ Ragnar, I could try BQ Scipio. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I did not invest in William Wallace. I actually have a sneaky feeling that if the best way to run 2 infantry is to split BQ and Lucha up, the first place I would go as a best matchup, or the best pairing for BQ would actually probably be BQ William Wallace, right? So if it's viable to split up BQ and Lucha. So for example, I find that BQ Scipio is actually really, really good, and it's noticeably better than Ragnar Scipio compared to BQ Lucha over Lucha Alex. Then I'm actually going to switch this wedge set to Pincer. Okay, so what I probably should do is I should actually switch this over to Pincer and then rotate, for example, like this Tercio, so 3 inf with a robust onto Arch. I don't think destructive is like almost like a negative, like a lot of people do think it is. But I do think out of the specials, it is like one of the weaker ones, right? I still think it's the best in slot. But funny enough, I actually think Pincer is probably the best scroll slot special inscription. This is really, really, really good. It's better than Hunter. It's definitely better than Destructive. It's better than I forgot the name of whatever is on Delta. Where is it? It's better than Thrasher, right? Like Pincer, for most people, if you don't have it, this Toppler, you should get this when you win an Autarch, right? Like you should just get this. And so for me, I'm kind of being cheap, right? I'm actually going to just switch over. I'm actually going to switch over this rare to Pincer. So the rare spot actually in Pincer is also really good for the scroll slot and Imploder. And then if we do win this KVK where I have the opportunity to get Autarch, I'm actually just going to pull a Toppler. And then I do feel like most people should be pulling for that, right? So if it's viable, then I'm actually going to convert my wedge set over to Pincer. So I'm going to have a Pincer and then an Arch. I'm actually going to run Lucha Alex and then, for example, BQ Scipio. That's the way to go, right? And then the BQ Scipio will actually have the Pincer. The Lucha Alex will have my Arch. If it's not, then I think it's pretty clear. I'm going to keep Ragnar with Scipio. I think Ragnar primary is probably the way to go, but I'm still going to test Scipio primary, Ragnar secondary, with significant enough data or enough data sets just to see, you know, if it is better or, you know, if it feels better, all that stuff, right? You want the data, right? So the reports manager is one leg. I think the feel or eyeball test is another one. So like you have an idea as you're using it on March over and over in the field about how good that's going to be. And the third one is going to be more theoretical, right? A lot of the like buffs or debuffs that it's hard to measure in the reports. I don't think that will change so much for this March, but the feel or eyeball test and then the reports will definitely tell me if Ragnar should be primary or Scipio should be secondary. All right. I've already tested, for me personally, Lucha Alex versus Lucha Scipio before. Lucha Alex is just the best thing I could run. I decided to skip William Wallace because after talking to some other people that used it, it just wasn't that good, right? So I think Lucha Alex is currently the best March in the game. Definitely the best infantry March to me. So I want to see if BQ Lucha is better than Lucha Alex, and if so, by how much. And if that difference is worth just dropping Alex or actually kicking BQ to the second in March and then running essentially two Smite commanders in 2 different marches. All right, so that's something I am going to be testing this KVK. I'm still going to watch other people do their testing, and you know it's going to help kind of formulate some of the thoughts in my mind. But if you want to have some data from actual like KVK open field testing with a lot of reports, right, from the trades to the average sevs and all that, and then like thoughts on it, watch my streams this Friday, Saturday coming up. I'm only going to really get to use it for like 2 zones, right? Because as you get first 2 days, and then I just kind of want to stop, right? But as you get deeper and deeper into the zones, right? I'm in Orleans, right? As we start getting into zone 6 and stuff, you can start getting multiple auxiliary skills. I feel like that'll actually start changing some of the stuff too much, because you can literally pick auxiliary skills that shore up weaknesses for commanders. And then I feel like it starts getting too far away from an accurate representation of the March, right? So yeah, like it'll be cool to actually get to test Pincer for the first time, because right now I haven't rolled into it. I'm probably going to convert over to it if it's viable to split it up. I'll actually get to see if Scipio primary is better, and then I'll report back after I do some testing. Right, so definitely keep an eye out for that, and just know, when Beacon comes out tomorrow, it'll be exciting. We'll see all the different first like testings, right, and arc practices, battle simulators, all that stuff. But then there will be more testing to be done later on in the week, and I'm sure maybe there's other people on KBK that could do that now, right? But I'm for sure going to get to do that in like 6 days, 5 days from now. All right. So if you watched all the way to the end yet, you haven't, please like and subscribe to the video. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.